Good afternoon, grade 4 boys and girls. And how are you doing this afternoon? Okay, I'm happy to know that you all are fine. Now this afternoon, I have a very exciting math lesson for you. And guess what? We are going to introduce that lesson with a catchy song. So, we're going to read the song and then we're going to sing it together. Okay, boys and girls? Now, boys and girls, let's read the song. This is how it goes. Fractions, fractions, they are part of a whole. Fractions, fractions, they are three types I know. Proper, improper, and mixed number. Fractions, fractions, that's what I know. Fractions, fractions, they are everywhere. Okay? So let's go together, right? Fraction, fractions, they're part of a whole. Fraction, fraction, there's three types I know. Proper, improper, and mixed number. Fraction, fractions, that's what I know. Fraction, fractions, they're everywhere. Okay? Let's go again. Fraction, fractions, they're parts of a whole. Fraction, fraction, there's three types I know. Proper, improper, and mixed number. Fraction, fractions, that's what I know. Fraction, fractions, they are everywhere. Okay? Good. So now, boys and girls, did you enjoy the song? Okay, I'm glad to hear. Now, who can tell me what this song was all about? Yes, I'm listening. Yes? Now, you're saying that the song was all about fractions. Yes, that's correct. Somebody else from the back, what the song was all about, what you learned from the song. Okay, Amaya is saying that she learned about the different types of fraction. Yes, thank you. Now, boys and girls, what do you expect to learn from this lesson? I'm listening. Okay, Sharif. Sharif is saying he expects to learn about fractions. Anybody else? Yes, Barnes? Okay, you expect to learn about the types of fractions. Thank you. So our topic today, boys and girls, is what? What is our topic? Yes, correct. Our topic is types of fractions. Good. Okay, boys and girls, like you would have just said, our topic today is types of fraction. Good. So what are the types of fraction? You can remember from the song, we had proper fraction, improper fraction, and mixed number fraction. Okay? Now, before we go to the types of fraction, I would like someone to tell me in their own words, what is a fraction? Anybody knows what is a fraction? I'm listening. 1/2? Yes, 1/2 is a representation of a fraction. But I want you to tell me what is a fraction. Yes? Yes, Sharif? A fraction is a part of a whole. Yes, correct. That's correct. A fraction is a part of a whole. Now, boys and girls, let us read what is the definition for a fraction. A fraction is a part of a whole. A fraction can be identified when a whole is divided into a number of equal parts. Let me show you this little demonstration. Okay, boys and girls, Shari said that a fraction is a part of a whole, and he is correct. Let's look at this example. Here we have a whole circle, okay? It's a circle, correct. Now, could you remember, boys and girls, when we did line of symmetry, what we said is a line of symmetry? Yes, that's correct. When we draw a straight line through the middle of an object, right? Like this. Now, so we just had a whole circle, then we make a line of symmetry, then we have how many parts? How many parts we have now? Thank you, we have 2 parts. Now, should I say now that one part is shaded, we shade one part in red. Now, how many parts is shaded? 1 out of 2, and that is a representation. Now, one part is shaded out of the 2 parts. The part is shaded red. Now, this is a representation of a fraction. And anybody knows 1 out of 2 is what fraction? What fraction do we call 1 over 2? Anybody? Yes, Barnes? That's correct, a half. 1 out of 2 parts shaded. That is a representation of a half. Okay? Imagine that this is an apple and you cut it in 2 parts. You would have 1 part that you would take out and the other part remains. So it's 1 out of 2, and that is a fraction. Okay? Thank you. Okay, boys and girls, so here we have the whole, and then 1 out of the 2 part is shaded. Now here we have 1 out of 2 parts shaded. This is the fraction 1 out of 2. Now, boys and girls, let us name the parts of the fraction. Who can tell me this numeral 1, what do we call the number above? Anybody knows? Boys and girls, I'm listening. No, that's not correct. Amaya, you want to try? Yes, it's the numerator. The number at the top is the numerator. Okay? We have the numerator. Let's spell the word numerator for me. Spell the word. N-U-M-E-R-A-T-O-R. Numerator. Good. Now this line here now, this line is known as the frenculum. What is the line known as? The frenculum. Frenculum, boys and girls. This is a big word also. Let's spell frenculum. V-I-N-C-U-L-U-M. Frenculum. Now this one now, you should know this one, boys and girls. The one below. What do we call this number? This number represents the number of parts that the whole is divided into. What do we call this number? Okay, thank you, Sharon. This number is known as the denominator. The denominator tells you how many parts the whole is divided into. And the numerator tells you how many parts is shaded or taken. Okay? So here we have the denominator. Let's spell D-E-N-O-M-I-N-A-T-O-R. Denominator. So here we have it. We have the types of fraction. What are the types of fraction? Proper fraction, improper fraction, mixed number fraction, and here we have the representation of a fraction where one part is shaded out of 2. And here is a fraction and your fractional parts. Okay? Good. Okay, boys and girls. Now, we're going to do this activity so that you can have a better understanding of today's lesson. Okay? Good. Now, Group A, you are going to do a word search where you're going to search and find the names of the different types of fraction. Okay? Group A, you are going to do a word search. Now group B, you are going to color the fractions. On the right you have some diagrams there, and you are going to color the fractions to represent those shadings. Okay, group B, do you understand? Great. Now group C, you are going to match the fractions to the drawings, or rather the shadings. Okay, you have the shadings on the left and you have the fractions on the right. For example, the first one there is 1 is shaded out of 2 parts. You are going to look on the left hand side and see where you find 1 out of 2. Okay, or the fraction a half, and you're going to match it. Do you understand, group C? Okay, boys and girls, you have 10 minutes to do this activity. Okay, I'm coming around to see what you people are doing. Okay. Group C, I will be there with you. If you need any help, just raise your hand. Okay, 10 minutes, boys and girls. Okay. Great job, boys and girls. Now, most of you have a very good understanding of today's lesson. So, let's reflect on what we would have done today. Okay? Now, who can tell me what we did today, or something that you would have learned from today's lesson? I'm listening. Yes? Yes, Amaya? Now, Amaya is saying that today we did types of fraction. Class, is that correct? Yes, thank you. We did types of fraction. Now, who can name the types of fraction for me? Barnes? Yes, we have proper fraction. Anybody else? Somebody from group C? Omari? Yes, improper fraction. Yes, and we have mixed number fraction. So, for homework, you are going to paste a representation of each type of fraction in your exercise books for me. Okay, okay, boys and girls. Now today we would have looked at the types of fraction. And the types of fractions are proper fraction, improper fraction, mixed number fraction. Here we said that a fraction is a part of a whole, right? We had a whole here, the yellow one was a whole, right? And then we shaded one out, we part the whole into 2 parts, and we shaded 1 part out of 2. Now 1 out of 2 is represented here as a fraction, and that is known as a half. Now, the number above is known as the numerator. We would have spelled the word numerator, so I want you to go home and continue spelling this word until you can spell it for yourself. Then we learned that the line that separates the numerator and the denominator is known as the feculum. We have the number below that shows the amount of parts that the whole is divided into. That number is known as the denominator. Boys and girls, please continue spelling these words for your edification. Okay? Good. So when you go home today, kindly remember to tell your mommy and daddy that you have to paste a representation of each type of fraction in your exercise book. You have to paste a representation of a proper fraction, an improper fraction, and a mixed number fraction. Thank you so much, boys and girls, for for participating in today's lesson.